Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the President of Yale University, the Commanding Officer of Yale Naval Reserve Officer Training Corps, and Commander of Yale Air Force Reserve Officer Training Corps, welcome to the Annual President's Review. At this time, we'd like to specifically acknowledge and thank representatives in attendance from Fairfield University, Quinnipiac University, Sacred Heart University, Southern Connecticut State University, Wesleyan University, Western Connecticut State University, and the University of New Haven. To you and to all distinguished guests, families, and friends, welcome. Today's music is provided by the United States Navy Band Northeast. Today's review is conducted by the Midshipmen and Cadets of Yale, Army, Naval, and Air Force Reserve Officer Training Corps. Present-day reviews have their basis in both history and tradition. The mass formation of troops on one long line at close interval made possible the massing of firepower from muzzle-loaded muskets of yesterday. In those early days, the line of battle was just that, a line of 2 or 3 ranks, and looked much like the parade formation you will see today. The adjutant forms the line for battle. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of the official party. Air Force Reserve Officer Training Corps, Detachment 9, arriving. Naval Reserve Officer Training Corps, Unit, Yale University, arriving. Brigadier General, United States Army, retired, arriving. Yale University, arriving. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the posting of the colors, the national anthem, and the invocation. Chaplain Ian Oliver, Yale University Senior Associate Chaplain, will now give the invocation.
Let us pray. Holy God, creator of all, we do invoke your presence here as we celebrate these students, their gifts and service, and the approaching culmination of years of study and hard work. There's a deep sense of pride and hope in this room. You made it to this day guided by a loving spirit. Thank you for the devotion these students have shown and the sacrifices they have made. Thank you for all those who encouraged and supported them, their families, their officers, their teachers. We thank you for their talents and gifts and pray for even more courage, wisdom, and strength in the future. We ask you to watch over them, protect them, and sustain them wherever your hand leads. Amen.
Please be seated. The President's Review has several purposes. First, it serves to honor and thank the leadership of the universities that host and support our units. This event also serves as an opportunity to publicly recognize the achievements of the midshipmen and cadets you see here today who have distinguished themselves during the academic year. Ladies and gentlemen, Commanding Officer, Yale University Naval Reserve Officer Training Corps, Captain Bill Johnson.
Thank you. Good morning, President Salovey, leaders from our crosstown colleges, General Woodhouse, fellow ROTC commanders, Colonel Oberg, Major Farabee, Dean Lewis, Yale administrators, faculty and staff, alumni and ROTC supporters, awards presenters representing a host of organizations, members of the Yale's Veteran Association and Yale's Veteran Network, friends and families, midshipmen and cadets, welcome. It is absolutely fantastic that we can take some time out of our busy schedules to showcase our midshipmen and cadets, to recognize some of our top performers, and to congratulate our upcoming class of 2024 graduates and future officers in the Navy, Army, Air Force, and Space Force. Thank you all for being here today. Also want to give a quick thanks to Midshipman Redondo, Gunnery Sergeant King, and Liz Villadaki, who have really put tremendous effort in bringing this whole thing together. It would not have happened without them. Midshipman Redondo was a midshipman coordinator for this event. Gunnery Sergeant King made sure all our cadets and midshipmen looked so professional today. And Liz Villadaki, behind the scenes, just made things happen so smoothly. So thank you to all. And lastly, a huge thank you to the Navy Band. You guys sound phenomenal. Thanks for making the trek from Newport to be part of our ceremony today. To the midshipmen and cadets standing here at parade rest, I remember over 30 years ago when I was in your shoes doing the exact same thing, and really the main thing on my mind was not listening to what the speakers had to say. It was making sure I didn't lock my knees and pass out. So I want you to know I have that in my mind here today. I will keep my comments brief, but that being said, still keep a little bend in those knees. You likely know this already, but I'll say it anyway. We have a special thing here at Yale. This is my first year at Yale, and I had my first Bulldog Days this last week, welcoming future Yale students, Yale ROTC members, and I got to interact with parents and students and had a phenomenal experience there. And I just want to share with you what a dad shared with me on why Yale was his son's number one choice of schools to come to. They visited a half dozen at least schools, again, great quality schools. They sat down with staff there, with ROTC members and students, and they recognized that Yale is different. What really stood out to them was a partnership that Yale has with ROTC and the partnership they have with the veterans on campus. The tremendous support that Yale has provided to military members as students or as staff on the campus. That support for the military is not an afterthought. It is part of the ethos of Yale. A couple years back, Yale was recognized by U.S. News and World Reports as the best school supporting veterans, also recognized by the Department of Defense as having the best ROTC program. You can take those accolades for what they're worth, but I can tell you, after being here for the last year, they are absolutely true. Yale is absolutely phenomenal. The support for the military and the students here is absolutely phenomenal. I clearly see it. And that did not happen by accident. It's in our culture here at Yale. It's a culture created and nurtured at the top. It's a culture that's lived by all of you here. It's a culture that values education, that values each other as students, that values each other as citizens, that values each other as members of the human race. And in the Navy, we'd say they value each other as shipmates. Yale values the sacrifice of our military veterans and the sacrifices of all our future military ensigns and second lieutenants standing out here today. That value at Yale for the military is literally etched in stone on the walls of Schwartzman Hall. And that value is figuratively etched in who we are as part of the Yale family. Again, it doesn't happen by accident. We have something here special at Yale. Another thing we have special here is sitting right in the front row up there. A living representation of the values of service is sitting with us today. General Enoch Woody Woodhouse, one of the last surviving Tuskegee Airmen, is here as a member of our official party and to present an inaugural award named in his honor today. General, thank you so very much for the many sacrifices you made in serving our country both in and out of uniform, and thank you for making our military and our Yale community a better place. To our cadets and midshipmen, I challenge you to keep living that culture of service, to keep living that culture of sacrifice, that culture of respect through the rest of your time here at Yale and as you head off to serve our country with honor. I challenge you to not take for granted the special thing we have here at Yale, and most importantly, to pay it forward. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce our host and reviewing official for today's event. President Peter Salovey is the 23rd president of Yale University. He has a long and distinguished career here at Yale dating back to the 1980s, and it'd be far too long to list his credentials and accomplishments, but I'd like to say just a couple things. And first and foremost, that he is simply a good person, approachable and enlightening, encouraging of faculty and staff and students to truly become the best that we can be. He values service and sacrifice. And I said earlier that the culture here at Yale doesn't happen by accident. It starts at the top. Over the last 11 years, President Salovey has nurtured and grown a culture at Yale that we can all be proud of. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming President Salovey.
Well, thank you, Captain Johnson, for leading our Naval ROTC units, and Colonel Oberg for your leadership of Yale's Air Force ROTC units. This is my 11th President's Review, and I will say that this is the sharpest looking group that I have been able to preside over. You look great. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, parents and friends and family members who are with us today. It's really a privilege to be here on a very special occasion for Yale and for our ROTC. I'm so delighted that we're joined by our neighbor universities to honor the hard work and commitment of our ROTC students. We have representatives here today from Fairfield University, Quinnipiac University, Sacred Heart University, Southern Connecticut State University, the University of New Haven, Wesleyan University, and my wife's alma mater, Western Connecticut State University. This year, perhaps more than ever before, we are reminded of the importance of sacrifice and service. The cadets and midshipmen who serve in Yale's ROTC have taken on a tremendous responsibility, and they serve as examples of the call we hope all Yale students and graduates will heed, the call to serve the greater good. As our mission statement reminds us, we should use the education and opportunities that Yale provides, and if you're not a Yale student, that your colleges and university provides, to improve the world today and for future generations. Today, as we honor these members of ROTC who work to realize this mission, we also remember the men and women of Yale and our partner institutions who have served their country, in our case, for over 3 centuries. The university has a long history of students and alumni serving in the U.S. Armed Forces, and it dates back to the colonial period. In both peacetime and wartime, Yaleys have answered the call to duty. Many have made the ultimate sacrifice for their country. As a campus community, we remember the service of our veterans and honor their sacrifice. And we will continue to make Yale a place that is welcoming and supportive of our veterans. This legacy of service enriches our community. It reminds us that we all have a responsibility to serve others, whether in the military or in civilian society. Regardless of our profession or career, each of us can make service to others an important part of our lives. And so now, I'd like to congratulate all our soon-to-be graduates and express my appreciation to all the midshipmen and cadets for exemplifying this commitment to service. You will soon be second lieutenants and ensigns serving as America's ambassadors around the globe. You will face challenges and opportunities in a rapidly changing world with incredible technological advances that both connect people across national and cultural borders, but also pose unpredictable security risks. You will experience shifts in political and environmental landscapes and be called to foster unity across divisions, often in the service of bedrock values like freedom and democracy. Regardless of what trials you may face, I'm confident that you, like the Yaleys and others who contributed to this country before you, will lead and serve the greater good. My confidence is rooted in all that you have learned in college. Here we model the knowledge, skills, and actions that together make for an effective leader. These behaviors include being open to contrary opinions, listening to those with vastly different outlooks and experiences, asking questions that broaden our mindset, thinking critically when confronting complex issues, and acting with empathy and understanding. The world would be advantaged by leaders who can work across divisions and find ways to help individuals and communities overcome entrenched differences. So at this time of bitter discord, of political polarization, of growing conflict around the world, our united emphasis on leadership is what is truly needed more than ever. Your leadership is needed. I'd like to thank you for carrying on the finest traditions of these institutions of higher learning, for your persistent focus on demanding the best in yourselves and inspiring it in others. We are so proud of what you have accomplished either at Yale or your college, and we eagerly look forward to all you will accomplish in the future. Thank you all for the commitments that you have made. Congratulations to each one of you, and Godspeed.
We will now begin with the presentation of awards. Joining the commanding officers and President Salovey in the reviewing area are Lieutenant Colonel Gallagher and Gunner Sergeant King. The presentation of the Commandant's Award to the university shows appreciation for supporting the development of our nation's military officers through the ROTC commissioning programs. The award is presented by Lieutenant Colonel Timothy Gallagher, United States Marine Corps and Marine Fellow at the Jackson School of Global Affairs, and Gunner Sergeant Chaz King, Yale University NROTC Assistant Marine Officer Instructor. The United States Marine Corps Commandant's Award is annually sponsored and donated by the Marine Corps Association to the Marine Corps Recruiting Command to recognize the top performing candidates at Marine Corps Officer Candidate School. The award was initiated to recognize the achievements of the candidate, recognize Yale's contribution to the candidate's development, and spread awareness of the Marine Officer Program throughout campus. This performance award is presented on behalf of Second Lieutenant Catherine Yang, class of 2023, to Dr. Peter Salovey, Yale University President. The Veterans of Foreign Wars Award is presented by Mr. Mario Richards, Veterans of Foreign Wars Connecticut State Commander. This award recognizes one midshipman and one cadet who demonstrate a positive attitude towards ROTC, outstanding professional attributes, and officer potential. This year's Naval ROTC recipient is Midshipman Elisa Kim, and Air Force ROTC recipient is Cadet John Lloyd. The General Society of the War of 1812 Award is presented by Mr. Lee Tryon, Secretary-Treasurer of the General Society of the War of 1812 in the state of Connecticut. This award recognizes one midshipman and one cadet who represent the cherishing, maintenance, and extension of the institutions of American freedom and foster true patriotism and love of country. This year's Naval ROTC recipient is Midshipman Andrew Turkleton, and Air Force ROTC recipient is Cadet Kaylin Smith. The Yale Veterans Association True to Her Traditions Award is presented by Mr. Adrian Bonenberger, Yale College Class of 2002, Miss Gabrielle Fong, Yale College Class of 2016, and Mr. Tyler Dedawar, Yale College Class of 2016. The mission of Yale University is to educate leaders. Additionally, Yale has a long and glorious tradition of service in defense of our nation. The Yale Veterans Association is very pleased to present its True to Her Traditions Leadership Award to honor and commemorate these ideals to the midshipmen and cadet who have demonstrated a strong commitment to them over the past year. This year's Army ROTC recipient is Cadet Abigail Brown. The Naval ROTC recipient is Midshipman Alexander Adams. The Air Force ROTC recipient is Cadet Caitlin Atlasnig. The Yale Veterans Network Annual ROTC Award is presented by Mr. Rod Lowe and Ms. V. Ware, co-chairs of the Yale Veterans Network. In the spirit of the Yale Veterans Network's charge to connect veterans on campus, this award recognizes one midshipman and one cadet who have demonstrated commitment to the Yale ROTC program through outstanding leadership, discipline, character, citizenship, and academic achievement. This year's Army ROTC recipient is Cadet Lillian Daravo. The Naval ROTC recipient is Midshipman Sophia Verich, and the Air Force ROT recipient is Cadet Isabella Anouk Skembury. The Order of the Purple Heart National Leadership Award is presented by Mr. Mike Perrone, Order of the Purple Heart State Commander. This award recognizes the demonstrated leadership ability of one midshipman and one cadet enrolled in a university ROTC program. This year's Naval ROTC recipient is Midshipman Evan Kwong, and Air Force ROTC recipient is Cadet Ellie Stewart. The Rear Admiral Frederick B. Warder Award for Outstanding Achievement is presented by Captain Tom Olson, United States Navy retired, and Vice President of the Naval Submarine League Nautilus Chapter. The Rear Admiral Frederick B. Warder Award for Outstanding Achievement, established in 1986, recognizes a graduating Naval ROT senior approved for entry into the Navy's nuclear propulsion program as submarine officers. The awardee has demonstrated superior, sustained performance in a difficult and challenging academic and operational environment, and as a result has earned the commanding officer's nomination for this distinctive award. This year's recipient is Midshipman Juliana Calvert. The Corporal Langdon Laws Ricketts Award is presented by Mr. Matthew Beatty Callahan, Yale College Class of 2018. Corporal Ricketts graduated from Yale College in 1916 and was killed in action during World War I at Mont Blanc in 1918. A decorated Marine who was the recipient of the Croix de Guerre, all accounts maintain that Corporal Ricketts had a knack for maintaining his wits in the face of chaos. Importantly, he was an enlisted man, a non-commissioned officer. NCOs are the backbone of the Marine Corps. More than any other service, the Marines place special trust and confidence in the abilities of their junior-most enlisted leadership. It is this sort of Marine that the recipient of the Corporal Langdon Laws Ricketts Award will be called upon to lead shortly after their graduation from Yale College. This year's recipient is Midshipman Courtney Johnson. This is the inaugural edition of the Brigadier General Enoch Woody Woodhouse Wingman Spirit Award and will be presented by General Enoch Woodhouse himself. This prestigious award is presented to an outstanding Air Force cadet who embodies the positive attributes, strength in adversity, and relentless optimism exemplified by Brigadier General Enoch Woody Woodhouse II. The recipient of this award is not only a dedicated wingman, but also a beacon of integrity, consistently choosing to do the right thing even in the face of challenges. This award recognizes their unmatched contribution to the program, inspiring others through their actions and embodying the true spirit of camaraderie and excellence. This year's recipients are Cadet Eric Simmons and Cadet Ivana Roque. The Robert N. Tharp Award is presented by Mr. Kevin Gunther. Robert N. Tharp was an esteemed teacher and mentor to generations of Air Force language specialists. This award recognizes a Yale Air Force ROTC cadet who for excellence in an academic achievement and for inspiring others toward global cultural awareness. This year's recipient is Cadet Julie Fan. The Yale Veterans Association Class of 1966 Sword is presented by Mr. B. Waring Partridge, Yale College Class of 1966, and Chairman Emeritus of the Yale Veterans Association. This sword is awarded to a Naval ROT student who possesses a demonstrated leadership ability and who has earned the respect of Yale classmates inside and outside of the Naval ROTC program. Through their efforts, they have materially contributed to bridging the civilian-military divide and, by exerting leadership in both spheres, have enhanced the prestige of the Naval ROTC program on campus and reinforced the Yale tradition of engaging in service to society as a desirable life objective. This year's recipient is Midshipman Victoria Imhoff. The Admiral David S. Ingalls Leadership Award is presented by Mr. Redmond S. Ingalls, Yale College Class of 1998, and grandson of Admiral David S. Ingalls. David S. Ingalls, Yale College Class of 1920, was the Navy's first ace with 5 confirmed kills in World War I. He later served as Assistant Secretary of the Navy for Aeronautics, where he tripled the number of Navy aircraft while advocating for fully deployable carrier task force. At Yale, he twice captained the men's hockey team. The Admiral David S. Ingalls Award recognizes a senior Yale Naval ROTC midshipman who shows uncommon ability and leadership potential. This year's recipient is Midshipman Richard J. Fern. The Yale Veterans ROTC Fund Award is presented by Dr. Peter Salovey, President of Yale University. This award recognizes a Yale senior in the Army, Naval, and Air Force ROTC units who is in good standing in their unit with excellent academic and military performance records. This year's Army ROTC recipient is Cadet Ariel Zito. The Navy recipient is Midshipman Matthew Bruning. The Air Force recipient is Cadet McKenna Picton, and the Space Force recipient is Cadet Colbert Flagg. This concludes the individual award presentations to our midshipmen and cadets who are undertaking extra academic coursework, undergoing physical training, participating in numerous community events, and willingly have pledged to serve their country upon graduation. Please join me in giving them a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now recognize the class of 2024. Please hold your applause until everyone has been recognized. Cadet Ariel Zito from Tampa, Florida, Branford College, Service Assignment, Medical Corps Infantry Detachment. First assignment, Basic Officer Leader Course, Fort Sam Houston, Texas. Midshipman Evan Branham from Lafayette, Colorado of Davenport College. Service assignment, Submarine Warfare Officer. First assignment, Naval Nuclear Power School, Joint Base Charleston, South Carolina. Midshipman Matthew Bruning from Richmond, Virginia of Pearson College. Service assignment, Naval Reactors Engineer. First assignment, Naval Reactors Headquarters, Washington Navy Yard, District of Columbia. Midshipman Juliana Calvert from Stafford, Virginia of Brantford College. Service assignment, Submarine Warfare Officer. First assignment, Naval Nuclear Power School, Joint Base Charleston, South Carolina. Midshipman Richard J. Fern from Berkeley, California of Berkeley College. Service assignment, Submarine Warfare Officer. First assignment, Naval Nuclear Power School, Joint Base Charleston, South Carolina. Midshipman Victoria Imhoff from Austin, Texas of Davenport College. Service assignment, Surface Warfare Officer. First assignment, Basic Division Officer Course, Norfolk, Virginia. Cadet Megan Draney from Fredericksburg, Virginia of Timothy Dwight College. Service assignment, Chemist. First assignment, Air Force Research Laboratory, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. Cadet Brendan Estacio from Stamford, Connecticut of Southern Connecticut State University. Service assignment, Combat Systems. First assignment, Undergraduate Combat Systems Officer Training, Naval Air Station, Pensacola, Florida. Cadet Thomas Nardini from New Haven, Connecticut of Saybrook College. Service assignment, Pilot. First assignment, Undergraduate Pilot Training, Vance Air Force Base, Oklahoma. Cadet McKenna Picton from Tucson, Arizona of Pauli Murray College. Service assignment, Office of Special Investigations, Special Agent. First assignment, Ramstein Air Base, Ramstein, Germany. Cadet Nita Q from Woodbury, Minnesota of Morse College. Service assignment, Reserve Pilot. First assignment, Undergraduate Pilot Training, Robbins Air Force Base, Georgia. Cadet Ivana Roque from Wallingford, Connecticut of Southern Connecticut State University. Service assignment, Combat Systems. First assignment, Undergraduate Combat Systems Officer Training, Naval Air Station, Pensacola, Florida. Cadet Isabella Anouk Skembry from Denver, Colorado of Morse College. Service assignment, Intelligence Officer. First assignment, Intelligence Technical School, Goodfellow Air Force Base, Texas. Cadet Chandra Fink from Houston, Texas of Saybrook College. Service assignment, Space Operations Officer First. First assignment, Space Force Officer Training Course, Vandenberg Space Force Base, California. Cadet Colberg Flagg from Warner Robins, Georgia of Grace Hopper College. Service assignment, Space Operations Officer. First assignment, Space Force Officer Training Course, Vandenberg Space Force Base, California. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for our graduating seniors. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the benediction and remain standing for the pass and review, service songs, and departure of the official party.
Let us pray. God of peace and God of power, as we go out, we ask your blessing on each of us, and especially on these students. Thank you for the honors given, the commitment recognized, and the ongoing community of support for these students, their program, and the future they represent. Amen.
March